What's up guys, Roaring Turkey here, and today we're looking at the top 10 fire cards from Arthurian Legends. Starting off at number 10, we have Fire Breathing. For 4 mana, Fire Breathing can be cast from any allied beast or dragon and deals 4 damage at a primary location adjacent to them, and 1 damage to surrounding adjacent locations. 4 mana deal 4s are generally okay. It's not an impressive rate, but 4 is a very important hurdle to get over for your damage-based removal. Fire Breathing stands out among other 4 mana deal 4s because it can be cast from any allied beast or dragon. The flexibility in casting it means you'll have an easier time putting that damage where you want it, and this hits the location and not just a target unit, so you even have 2-for-1 potential. The splash damage is a small bonus that will often just clear tokens or put 1 damage on your opponent, but all of this together means Fire Breathing is pulling its weight in your deck. Coming in at number 9 is Brother Knight. Brother Knight is a 4 mana 3/2 with Genesis. You may search your spellbook or hand for another Brother Knight and summon it here, shuffle if needed. What this means is that for 4 mana, you get 6 attack and 4 defense power worth of stats divided across 2 bodies. That's a really good rate, but is brought in check by only having 2 defense power each. The brothers' fragility is what keeps them from going any higher on this list, but they can put in a lot of work in a go-wide Anthem-based deck, and also their double fire threshold means they count for 4 damage in the cemetery in a Flamecaller deck. Coming in at number 8 is Funeral Pyre. Funeral Pyre is a fire site with Genesis, banish up to 3 cards from a cemetery. Cemetery hate is important in every card game, and while this effect isn't the most powerful, it is very scarce with the current card pool. In fact, Funeral Pyre is the only card in the game that can banish magics from a cemetery, making it vital in facing the format's leading boogeyman, Archimago. There are other matchups where cemetery interaction is useful, like Death Speaker, Flamecaller, or a Spirits decks. Because of this, Funeral Pyre sees play in decks that aren't even using fire, just for the utility of its Genesis ability. Hopefully, as the card pool expands, we will get more ways to interact with the cemetery, and this card's importance will diminish. At number 7 is Warhorse. Warhorse is a 2 mana, 2-power beast with charge and the ability to carry another ally. It's hard out here for 2-power minions to see success. They die easily to the damage that fire decks can throw around, it's not too difficult to block them with something bigger, and they're not too imposing on the board to pressure control decks. That said, charge on Warhorse lets it act right away and get guaranteed value, and the ability to carry an ally is huge. Since it doesn't specify minions, that means Warhorse can actually pick up the avatar. Pretty much every avatar wants a bit of free movement, so Warhorse feels right at home in many aggressive decks, but many avatars really depend on free movement. Something like Flamecaller or Battle Mage can really utilize Warhorse to either move up in Battle Mage's case, or to move to the sides and get line of sight on an avatar in Flamecaller's case. And our number 6 is the Great Famine. The Great Famine is a 4 mana unique aura that kills the strongest minion at affected sites at the end of your turn. If there are no minions occupying any affected sites, the Great Famine dispels itself. Usually this aura is going to kill something the turn it comes down, and then your opponent will try to move units away from it and summon units away from it so that it dispels on the next turn. Unless you feed it your own minions, which you can do, but probably isn't something you want to do all the time. Even though this doesn't stick around for very long, it will make your opponent play in a way that is not optimal. They might play minions on a location that they can't attack you from, or they'll move their minions to a site that can only attack a free city or something like that. You'll often get a lot more than just 1 kill with this card, just the other benefits aren't quite as tangible. The aura also hits things below the surface, since it doesn't say atop affected sites, so it gets a lot of bonus points for being able to kill root spiders. And number 5 is Siege Giant. Siege Giant is a 4 mana, 4-power giant who can throw a weaker ally to a nearby location once on your turn. In a lot of ways, this guy feels like Blink on a stick, although instead of cantripping, you get a beefy boy. You'll often get to throw an ally into a location they can attack from, or get around defensive sites like Perilous Bridge. As I mentioned with Warhorse, the omission of the word minion in his ability means that Siege Giant can throw the allied avatar to a nearby location as well, which is great for repositioning. Number 4, Shatter Strike. Shatter Strike is a 4-mana magic that lets an ally strike an adjacent target unit, breaking any artifacts they carry prior to the strike. The ability to destroy artifacts being carried is huge, as fire doesn't have a lot of ways to deal with artifacts, but also the fact that it is a one-sided strike means you can hit an enemy with no repercussions, maybe even getting a 2-for-1 if they're holding an artifact. I'm often slotting out a grapple shot in my decks for a Shatter Strike, and grapple shot is a contender for top 10 cards period, so it should really illustrate how cracked Shatter Strike really is. And at number 3 is Buudaca. Buudaca is a 4-mana, 3-power mortal who gives other allies plus 3 power when attacking a site successfully. Plus 3 power is an insane buff to give out, and there's no proximity to Buudaca required. You can toss her into the void with a Phantom Steed, and have your Foot Soldier or Frog Army go crazy with all this power. She works especially well in go-wide strategies, since the more units you have, the harder it becomes for your opponent to defend everything, and also you just have more units to receive the buff. With a well set up board, she can come down and clean your opponent out, and she works especially well with stealth minions too. At number 2 is Fields of Camelin. Fields of Camelin is a fire site with Genesis. Each player chooses one of their minions, kill the rest. You need to have 3 fire threshold to activate that Genesis, and the Fields hasn't had the best opportunity to showcase its power just yet, given that the format has been dominated by a control deck that plays very few minions. But having a board wipe on a site drop is crazy. It costs you no mana, and just killing one minion with this feels good, since it basically feels like it's free. Having an effect like this on a site is so good because the opportunity cost is so low. Even a deck that can't consistently hit 3 fire will consider running this, because if it does, it would have just been a desert anyways. And at number 1 is Morgana Lefay. We all knew Morgana was going to be at the top of this list. Morgana Lefay is a 3-mana, 3-power spellcaster with stealth, and she has Genesis. Morgana draws her own hand of 3 spells that only she can cast. 3-mana draw 3 on a magic would be highly playable on its own, but this one comes stapled on a 3-power stealthed up spellcaster. There's some risk attached because if she dies you'll lose those cards, but stealth is going to make it harder for that to happen, and when she dies or leaves the realm for any reason, her hand will go to your cemetery, so if you're playing something like Flamecaller or Death Speaker, she will at worst turbocharge your cemetery. Morgana takes the top spot on the list because she offers insane card advantage at no cost to tempo, because she's a 3-mana, 3-power minion, which is pretty on rate. Prior to this set, we were happy to spend 6 mana on a 0-power minion to get this kind of card draw, so she is incredible. And those are my top 10 fire cards from Arthurian Legends. Fire got a lot of love from this set, and there are plenty of other good cards worth mentioning that just didn't make the cut for me. Let me know what cards are in your top 10 that didn't make mine. Don't forget to like and subscribe to see more videos like this in the future. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day.